Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvata Chandra Jaya Ghora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Ghora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-Lila, chapter 5, entitled The Glories of Lord Nityananda Balarama. Text 21 and 22. 21 I will recite and 22 you all can repeat. Preme netre dekhe tara swarupa prakasha Gopa gopi sangye yanra Krishnera vilasa. Translation and purport is not there for the next next sloka is by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. But with the eyes of love of Godhead, one can see its real identity as a place where Lord Krishna performs his pastimes with cowherd boys and cowherd girls. Then you all can repeat the 22nd. It is basically from Brahma Samhita. Chintamani prakara sadma shukalpa vruksham Laksha vriteshu surabhira bipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra sata sambrama sevyamanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Chintamani prakara sadma sukalpa vruksham Lakshva vriteshu surabhira bipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra sata sambrama sevyamanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Chintamani prakara sadma shukalpa vruksham Laksha vruteshu surabhira vipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra sata sambrama sevyamanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Kindly repeat. Matajis? Thank you. This has a very large purport. So we will, in the duration of the class, we will take para by para and try to discuss. Will happen. Om Ajnanatimiram Dasya Jnanam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Mamcha Kalpataru Vesha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees. Today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita class. I seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas assembled here, senior devotees, so that I can share something for my own purification and glorification of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is one of the topmost study of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Like we read Bhagavad-gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and many other literatures. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the speciality of this literature is it teaches the practice of devotional service. Just like, we see this first Adi-Lila, many chapters have about the incarnations, like the Panchatattva, who is Lord Chaitanya, who is Lord Nityananda, who is Advaita Acharya, who is Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur. This explanation is given in the initial chapters of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I heard a very interesting definition of Chaitanya Charitamrita. That, like we all know that for Lord Chaitanya incarnation, who prayed for, who was the Lord Advaita Acharya. But he is also form of Vishnu, right? So that's why it is said, this CC is something like this, that God praying for the God so that he can descend and teach how to worship God. So God is only praying, Advaita Acharya, to Lord Chaitanya, who is also God. He comes as a devotee and teach how to worship Krishna, again God. So this is the amazing definition of Chaitanya Leela. And if you see any of you know how many shlokas are there in Chaitanya Charitamrita? Sorry? Very good. Nice. And out of 11,000 shlokas, approximately 1,000 shlokas are from different scriptures. They are like here. This is from Brahma Samhita. So in Lord Chaitanya, actually Brahma Samhita was not there in that Madhva, this thing. So when Lord Chaitanya went to South India trip, he brought two literatures. from the South India. Anyone knows the names of the literature? Sorry? Krishna Karnamrita and Brahma Samhita, right? Entire Brahma Samhita? Which chapter? Only 5th chapter. Yeah. So 5th chapter itself is so amazing, You can imagine other. So Krishna Karnamrita is written by our Belomangal Thakur, that explaining the so many pastimes of Lord Krishna, intimate pastimes. And Brahma Samhita mainly tells about the tattva, that what is who is Krishna, what is his difference between Krishna and Vishnu, like all these things are there, and the connection between Maya and like a living entity. So many things are there, very nicely elaborated in the Brahma Samhita. So that's why, like when we see this thing, Lord, if in the Gaudiya Vaishnavism philosophy, Lord Chaitanya came with very specific purposes. Like the Chaitanya Lila, if you read, very specific purposes are there, right? So there is we hear in Srila Prabhupada repeatedly quotes this shloka, is that Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas Taddama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumardo Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatra Dharanapara. This shloka summarizes what Lord Chaitanya want to teach us. So in this shloka, if you see, the many things are explained. What is the for a sadhaka, what is required? This particular shloka explains very nicely. So this has many things, right? One of them is what is the ultimate goal of our life as a sadhaka? What is that? Prema Pumardu Mahan. What is that? Like in the end of our everyday Mangala Arati, we towards the end we chant, na? Our ultimate goal is what? Krishna Prem. So Lord Chaitanya came to tell us what is that Prem. If you go to go outside, many of you go for book distribution. If you try and ask, what is the definition of love? So people give so many explanations, right? But if you see, hardly anyone know what is the real love. Real love is not there in material world. Even the topmost love of this material world cannot be compared to what spiritual world is. Because it has 3 modes of nature. When it is contaminated by 3 modes, how much we want to love other person, there is some contamination, some selfishness, some kind of, what can I get out of him? Everywhere, right? So that is the issue with the love. And if you ask anyone, what is the definition of love? They may tell so many definitions. But actually, if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can understand how the devotees are having loving interactions with each other. Hardly any selfish, you don't find any selfish motive. Just to please Lord and, serve devotees. So that is the Prema Pumarda Maha. So that is called Prema Tattva. This Lord Chaitanya explaining about the Prema Tattva. Then next is that, what is the shloka? Bhagavan Tattva. Bhagavan. Who is Bhagavan here? Vrajesha Tanaya. He is the Nanda Maharaj, son of Nanda Maharaj. So he explains about entire Bhagavan. What is his characteristics? How to understand him. Everything is explained here. See, before coming to ISKCON, Bhagavan means somewhere he is very, distant person. Like you go to some South Indian temples, Lord is there very far, and you have to look at from for a minute, and for that you have to need lot of VIP, tickets and this and that. But hardly we can meditate on the Lord form, because it's so much rush is there. So, but when we come to, like Srila Prabhupada established such temples, so we see that, you can actually meditate on the Angani Yasa Sakalendri Vritti. You can see the Lord's form, and, our pujaris are doing so much hard work to serve Lord, and we can relish the beauty of the Lord. So, And then the definition itself is complete. It's not just that the Lord is very distant person, but He is there in the Paramatma also, always with us, always traveling with us. And not only as a Paramatma, He is also has sakas, like there are so many in the Vrindavan we see. People, Lord is calling us, we can play with Lord. Like, those gopas. If your eternal position in the spiritual world is a gopa, then you are playing with Krishna. And some gopas are jumping on Krishna and fighting with Krishna. So that is the, amazing definition of Bhagavan Tattva is explained here. And then it comes the Dhama Tattva. That's what we are reading here. This particular chapter, 5th chapter, where it is explaining about the Dhama Tattva. What is the characteristics of the spiritual world are explained, in this entire, chapter. And then other two tattvas are Bhakta Tattva. What is it said about here? Ramya Kachid Upasana Varkena Va Kalpita. Like, how to worship Krishna is in the footsteps of, gopis, the Vraja gopis. And then final one is Pramana Tattva. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamadam. Right? That is the standard, the set, what is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that from that we know, how to practice bhakti and everything. That's why in Chaitanya Charitamrita, as you mentioned, out of 11,000 shlokas, 1,000 are quoted from other scriptures approximately. And out of 1,000 also, most of them are quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam. And some are from Brahma Samhita and many other literatures. So that is the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Chaitanya Charitamrita also again quoting and connecting the references to it. So that is about the Bhagavat Pramana Tattva. How what is authenticity? Like the authentic literature from where you understand the scripture, entire about Krishna Tattva, everything. So in a way that Chaitanya Charitamrita is giving some kind of commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, if you see, because it explains the shloka and again how Lord Chaitanya is interacting, it is explained here. So it's like another form of commentary, right? So this is the essence of what Chaitanya Lila is that. So then we will go to the purport, like what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending cows, yielding all desires in abodes, built with spiritual gems, and surrounded by millions of purpose trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddess of fortune. In the previous Chaitanya Charitamrita shloka, it was nicely explained about what are the desire trees and what is the definition of it, like, and all these different details are explained. So Srila Prabhupada continued from there. Purport. This is a verse from Brahma Samhita. This description of the abode of Krishna gives us definite information of the transcendental place where not only is life eternal, blissful and full of knowledge, but there are ample vegetables, milk, jewels and beautiful homes and gardens tended by lovely damsels who are all goddesses of fortune. Krishna Loka is the topmost planet in the spiritual sky, and below it are innumerable spheres, a description of which can be found in Srimad Bhagavatam. In the beginning of Lord Brahma's self-realization, he was shown a transcendental vision of Vaikuntha spheres by the grace of Narayana. Later, by the grace of Krishna, he was shown a transcendental vision of Krishna Loka. This transcendental vision is like the reception of television from the moon via mechanical system for receiving modulated waves, but it is achieved by penance and meditation within oneself. This first para is explaining about that how like the Krishna Loka is there, and how there are a lot of devotees serving Krishna, and it is said Krishna Loka doesn't, Vaikuntha doesn't have any dust, but still there is a jadu, like our devotees do Mahakleaning. They take all the goddess of fortune takes jhadu and cleans it, though there is no dirt there, right? So even if it dirt is there at a Chintamani, it's not like where you take the dust and throw it in material world. But in Chintamani, it is a amazing stone. Nobody want to throw Chintamani, right? So, and in the towards the end, Srila Prabhupada end mentioning about how something got modulation. Suppose somebody is there in the moon via mechanical system. How you can see from satellite communication. Prabhupada is connecting to the modern technology. So it is said that, in our Mangala Arati also we sing that, Gunarupa Nam, Shri Radhika Madhava Yorapara. So it is said, when a sadhaka chants the holy name purely, automatically his rupa and then qualities and the pastimes all are revealed. So the nama is the trigger, the holy name is the trigger, which is our Kali Yuga. There is a process prescribed in the Kali Yuga. Somebody chants purely, automatically he can get all the other things manifested. That's why Srila Prabhupada, one of his lecture, he says, like, if you see these acharyas, like Guru Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they wrote like books like Gopala Champu and other text literatures. They quoted from scriptures, but they explained more than that. So how they are able to see that? Because they have that transcendental vision. The pastimes are revealed in the heart of those great souls, and they are able to write them in the books for us, for our benefit actually. So that is here also it is mentioned, no? That it's like a television from the moon via mechanical system, receiving modulated waves. But in spiritual life also equivalent technology is there, but that is not by some iron and aluminum and silica, and electricity, not like that, but by penance and meditation. So for our case, when we chant, ours is mantra meditation, right? When we do austerity of staying in association with service attitude, and also chant the holy names, then we can get that blessing. But many times when chanting, many people imagine pastimes that I am with Krishna, and then chanting goes to the background. But that's not what acharyas are saying actually. Acharyas are saying you focus on holy name. You focus on chanting Hare Krishna and attentively hearing the holy name, then automatically it will come. Not that you imagine that I am with Krishna, like Sahajiya. Sometimes people imagine the ecstasy and everything. So, and that SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki jai, Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. So this is the amazing technique. Our acharyas are very clearly explaining. You see, not that you have to imagine the pastime, rather when you chant the holy name purely, it will reveal actually. Then the second paragraph, Srimad Bhagavatam second canto states that in Vaikunta Loka, the material modes of nature represented by the qualities of goodness, passion, ignorance have no influence. In the material world, the highest qualitative manifestation is goodness, which is characterized by truthfulness, mental equilibrium, cleanliness and control of senses, simplicity, essential knowledge, faith in God, scientific knowledge and so on. Nevertheless, all these qualities mixed with passion and imperfection. But the qualities in Vaikuntha are manifestations of God's internal potency. That is called Vishuddha Sattva. Like Vasudeva Sadbitam, Bhagavatam says that, no? So how this is the Vishuddha Sattva is a pure mode of goodness. It's not contaminated by anything. Therefore, they are purely spiritual and transcendental with no trends of material infection. No material planet, even Satyaloka, is comparable in quality to the spiritual planets, where the 5 inherent qualities of the material world, namely ignorance, misery, egoism, anger and envy are completely absent. Like we say in the Bhagavatam, Sasasjangrenda Samishrama Atatamishramaadikrut. That that shloka says many things which are created in material world, some kind of tamish and the tamas. The material world has these 3 modes. And in the creation, Brahma used this type of technology, what all things to create it. So that's why end of the day, Brahma feels very sorry that what all things I had to create to, to entice the, this living entity And that way it continue the bondage of material world. Brahma feels very sorry actually that he has to do all these things. But the other service he is doing. So, but these are there. Ignorance is there, misery is there, egoism is there, anger and envy. Like one time, Srila Prabhupada was there, I think. So I think this PC Sarkar, one magician was showing different magics. But like, we hear from our Prabhupada disciples that, actually Prabhupada did the real magic of taking the conditioned soul out of this material world, which no magician has done, That is our acharyas are doing actually. So normal magic is tentatively, temporarily, you can see and, forget after a few minutes. But the real magic is, so much technology is there. Maya and Brahmaji, so much technology is made to make it appear something which is not real. But, it is made it appear real and happiness. There is so much happiness is there. So, which is a mirage. It's compared to mirage. But the Maya technology is such a way that you feel that, yes, there is happiness there. So, that is a nice, amazing technology is there. But to overcome that particular, shackles in the material world, one need to, come to this particular, what is the taught in Chaitanya Charitamrita. How to, come to the platform of pure devotional service. So, then continue the third paragraph. In the material world, everything is a creation. Anything we can think or within our experience, including even our bodies and minds, was created. So that's why we always say in Krishna consciousness, when we start our preaching, first teaching is what? We are not this body, we are the soul. Right? So that is the first teaching. So that's how we start. That's why, because our body is created and our body can be changed. Right? It's not an eternal body. The process of creation began with the life of Brahma, and the creative principle is prevalent all over the material universe because of the quality of, what is that? Which quality? Passion. And because of passion, the creation is happening, right? But since the quality of passion is conspicuous by its absence in Vaikuntha planets, nothing there is created. Everything there is eternally existent. And because there is no mode of ignorance, there is also no question of annihilation or destruction. In the material world, one may try to make everything permanent by developing the above mentioned qualities of goodness. But because the goodness in the material world is mixed with passion and ignorance, nothing here can exist permanently, despite all the good plans of the best scientific brains. And therefore, in the material world, we have no experience of eternity, bliss and full of knowledge. But in the spiritual world, because of the complete absence of qualities of modes, everything is eternal, blissful and cognizant. Everything can speak, everything can move, everything can hear, everything can see, and fully blessed existence for eternity. The situation being so, naturally space and time in the forms of past, present and future have no influence there. In the spiritual kind, there is no change because time has no influence. Consequently, the influence of Maya, the total external energy, which induces us to become more and more materialistic and forget our relationship with God, is also absent there. So this amazing thing is Prabhupada is explaining. See, anytime we do in material anything, we plan. Suppose somebody want to go to Australia, US, UK, or even to the other state, where you want to shift. You have to plan what type of environment is there. Recently some of our devotees went to Chardham Yatra. So in the South India it is very hot, 44, 48 degrees. But anyway it is hot here, better I don't carry any sweater or anything. Then they will suffer. Because Chardham Yatra means the temperature is like 0, 1, 2 degrees, sometimes. So they were feeling that, I was thinking that there will be, there will be difficulty, so cold there. But after they came from Yatra, I asked them, how you are feeling? They are saying, I am feeling hot here, bro. That's good, I can wear sweater and, nicely. It's quite cool. Here it is 47, 48 degrees, it's like so hot, here. So that's why when you go somewhere, you carry the, you plan for it, right? Similarly, if you want to go to spiritual world, we need understand what the spiritual world is all about. Otherwise, how will you plan, right? So that's the entire information of Chaitanya Charitamrita, like all these things are, literatures are there, so that we can plan our, journey. So, like we in the material circles, we hear, one who fails to plan, plans to fail. This is a very famous saying, So similarly, as a sadhaka, if one want to really successful, then he must plan, where am I going? What is the ultimate, what is that called? The environment there. And what all things I need to go there. So that means, that's why Srila Prabhupada said, we have to come to the goodness at least. Like the goodness, if you want to take off from the airport, if you go to Juhu airport, somebody want to take a flight and go to Delhi or somewhere. First you come to the airport and to the, runway. The goodness is like the runway, where you can fly and take off, to the spiritual world to come to the Vishuddha Sattva. So that is the amazing, at least that's why, Prabhupada mentioned here in this purport, the highest quality in material world is goodness. But if you want to really go to spiritual, Suddha Sattva, Vishuddha Sattva, we have to go from goodness. It's difficult to go from other modes, So, and further, it's very nicely explained. Sometimes it feels that there is no time, in spiritual world. But not like that. There is a time in spiritual world. Like there is a day, there is a night, sometime weather is changing to please Krishna's pastimes or to suit Krishna's pastimes. Then what exactly mean by there is no time in spiritual world? That's why Prabhupada is explaining that if you read Gita, Krishna says that, how this time has that, destructive nature. With the time, everything, dissipates. Like in my initial days of Krishna consciousness, when the presentation was there of DYS, they used to show an apple. So where you kept for a long time, there is a fast photography. So apple, slowly becomes change in color and then suddenly shrinks and, it just compresses. So that is a destructive nature of time in material world. So one devotee showed another slide. In that he mentioned the grapes turning into raisins. Raisins, like we put it in our kishmish where in our sweet rice or something. Then when that slide was shown, one devotee was telling, generally what is the meaning of it is that something which is valuable, it's turning to something not useful. The apple is, rotten and, sad gaya. But when you show the grapes is also good, the raisins also is good. That is the problem here. So sometimes we show some example, but you don't know. Prabhu, I like the raisins also, not only grapes. So we have to be careful, what we are showing. The devotee changed the slide and he got caught. So, but Vaikuntha, there is nothing called the destructive mindset. Sorry, the destructive influence is not there on the anything, because it is said there is no passion. It's already created. Spirituality is already ever existing and ever expanding also. And there is no quality of ignorance. There is nothing called destruction. But in our material world, you have this, always creation and creation, maintenance, destruction is always cycle, always keeps going on and on. So on this particular, this thing, I did a little more study. I found very nice comparison of fairy tales. You heard of fairy tales? So in the fairy tale, towards the end of the story, any kind of story, they say, they lived happily ever after. Heard about it? So if you see this particular, that phrase, it is actually a philosophical statement, right? So what is the meaning of they lived happily ever after? Ever after means Sat, eternal, what we say in spiritual world. And the lived means conscious. They are, the Chit, the knowledge and consciousness. And other one is what? They lived happily. That means Ananda. See, this particular example shows that, people also want to remain Sat Chit Ananda all the time. Right? They don't want to, change body. They don't want, things like this. That's why in the science, there are studies. They understood that the consciousness is there somehow by their own study. They are doing some experiments because the body will die. So they are trying to develop some technology where the brain of that guy can be transferred to the next body. So that all the thoughts, all the things will be, in the next body. So that he will feel that, even the body has changed. And, still they feel that I am the same person, same intelligence. This type of experiments people are trying to do. Just like, Srila Prabhupada says, in the Western world, some people lose the capacity to enjoy. So they take glands from monkeys to enjoy further and continue the enjoy. Then our Acharya says that, why you are taking so much pain of surgery, of taking glands from monkeys and everything. You stay for some time, you will become monkey. Automatically you will get all the, glands, whatever you want, So people are, so much struggling, which is a natural thing actually. That's why Srila Prabhupada in Jhansi, when he was doing book distribution, that he was distributing this easy journey to other planets. So one person asked, Prabhupada says that, you can go to other planets, by reading this book, you know how to procedure of that. Then that person asks, okay, I will go to other planets. Can I come back to Jhansi after that, after the tour? So that is our understanding that, we don't want to change our position. We want to continue that Sat Chit eternal, the eternity is what we want. So, but that is not possible in material world. How much ever we try, it's very difficult. So I did a little study on this, and then I found how in material world, every human being, the scientist, like Prabhupada said, the best scientific brains are not able to, replicate, right? Let us see what it is actually. So, see, one of the things is that, we want the quest for immortality. We always want to be immortal. Doesn't want to die. It started from Hiranyakashipu, that, how he wanted to be immortal. He doesn't want to die. But the problem is that how much we want to freeze time. Suppose we have some moment of happiness. We want to freeze it. And how do we do that? By taking photographs. In my childhood, I remember, if you want to take a photograph, you have to really pay a lot of money. Because the reel is there. The reel is very costly, And each reel is like, let us say, 500 rupees example. And if you want to, there are 32 photos, I think, in one reel. So after 32, 36 photos, again you have to pay money to get one more reel. And once you use it, it is done. But the moment this technology of mobile phone with camera came, the amount of this madness have increased like, without any bounds. Previously also people wanted to capture all the memories, but somehow it is costly, technology was costly. But now we are trying to freeze all the happiness moments by putting in the images. I'm saying that we also use the technology, like our devotees every day come and take photograph Lord's beauty. But in the material world it is opposite, right? So it is always changing. So that's why I want to, sometime I take some 10th class certificate. I was so young. Now I am old, So that, because we want to be young, we want to be always happy. We don't want any kind of diseases. But that is not possible. Like we are, there is something like organic movement. People want very quality vegetables and good milk and everything. But in the Prabhupada is writing, in the Vaikuntha Loka, all these things are available abundantly. But we don't want to go there. We want to create here that replica, but somehow we have to leave it. So I used to hear, how much ever health you amass, you take all this wealth and keep it, I have seen many miser people, they don't want to spend money, very thrifty, they hardly they have, donation also. But the problem with the money of this world is that either the money will leave you, somebody will take it, or you will leave the money. मतलब money is there, but आपका मृत्यु हो गया तो फिर वो money पड़ा रहेगा, कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. So that's why we want to freeze time by taking photography and everything, but it's not easy. And so much medical science is there to avoid what is that called, old age. We have a hair dye, so many type of treatments are there to look always beautiful. Even though externally they may look beautiful, but thing is that their time of death cannot be changed. So that is the issue with this. And then we have created such entertainment industry, such big industry, to see that how we can enjoy. And so many, we find so many kind of advertisement industry. Come here, you will enjoy. So much advertisement of industry is written actually. And also, Prabhupada mentioned in the one next paragraph. We'll read the next paragraph. Very nice, interesting. As the spiritual sparks and of the beams emanating from the transcendental body of the Lord, we are all permanently related with Him, equal to Him in quality. The material energy is a covering of the spiritual spark, but in the absence of the material covering, the living beings in Vaikuntha Loka are never forgetful of their identities. They are eternally cognizant of their relationship with God in their constitutional position of rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. Because they constantly engage in the transcendental service of the Lord, it is natural to conclude that their senses are also transcendental, for one cannot serve the Lord with the material senses. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha Loka do not possess material senses with which to lord it over material nature. Then, persons with a poor fund of knowledge conclude that a place void of material qualities must be some sort of formless nothingness. In reality, however, there are qualities in the spiritual world, but they are different from the material qualities, because everything there is eternal, unlimited and pure. The atmosphere there is self-illuminating, and thus there is no need of a sun, moon or fire, electricity and so on. One who can reach that abode does not come back to the material world. Yadkatva nanivardante taddama paramam mama. Right? There is no difference between atheist and the faithful in the Vaikuntha planets, because all who settle there are freed from the material qualities, and thus Suras and Asuras become equally obedient, loving servitors of the Lord. Right? We see, whoever is, sometimes Lord punishes someone, they also get liberation. They are the Asura, but he get liberated. That's what Prabhupada is writing here, that when they go to spiritual world, so they are also servant of Krishna only. And then this is very next is coming. The residents of Vaikuntha have brilliantly black complexions, much more fascinating and attractive than dull white and black complexion are found in the material world. Their bodies, being spiritual, have no equals in the material world. The beauty of a bright cloud, when lightning flashes on it, merely hints at their beauty. Generally, the inhabitants of Vaikuntha dress in yellow clothing. Their bodies are delicate and attractively built, and their eyes are like the petals of lotus flowers. Like Lord Vishnu, the residents of Vaikuntha have 4 hands decorated with a conch shell, wheel, club and lotus flower. Their chests are beautifully broad and fully decorated with necklaces of a brilliant diamond-like metal surrounded by a costly jewel never to be found in the material world. The residents of Vaikuntha are always powerful and effulgent. Some of them have complexions like a red coral, cat's eyes and lotus flowers, and each of them has earrings of costly jewels. On their heads they wear flowery crown resembling garlands. As I was discussing, it's very important to know what type of form Vaikuntha has, and what type of environment is there. So this Prabhupada is very nicely explaining, right? This particular paragraph is what we want to discuss. In the Vaikunthas, there are airplanes, but they make no tumultuous sounds. So, like sometime we have to change air flights. Short distance we have something called ATR. There is a flight variant, ATR. Once you sit in ATR, once the engine starts, it feels like you're like a blowout. So much sound it makes. Normal flight also makes sound, but that have a silencer. But the ATR has something called open propeller, like that fan is open. So entire sound gets into your ear. And it's horrible to sit for 1 hour, 1.5 hours in that, like, but that's why Prabhupada is writing that, they make like so much, noise. Material airplanes are all not at all safe. Like, I think we don't have to explain that. Like, recently so many people died, 1 year before, exactly, approximately, last June 2025, hundreds of people died in a airplane accident. So, that's why it is not at all safe. They can fall down and crash at any time. So it took off. After 30 seconds, it fell. And the people in the flight and on the, the ground also, many people died actually. So, for matter is imperfect in every respect. In the spiritual sky, however, the airplanes are also spiritual. And they are spiritually brilliant and bright. These airplanes do not fly business executives or politicians. Like, Prabhupada is talking about chartered flights, where they go for the, separately. One person only is there. And airplane is going actually. And are planning commissions, are passengers, as passenger. Nor do they carry cargo. Like, if you go to any airport, major airport, they have a terminal called cargo terminal. Because regular flights or domestic passenger carry is different and the cargo terminal is different. Though Prabhupada is mentioning about the cargo terminal, they have a separate, cargo space. Nor do they carry cargo or postal bags. Like, there's all this post, what we send couriers. No? For these are all unknown there. These planes are only for pleasure trips. Only for pleasure trips. And the residents of Vaikuntha fly in them with their heavenly, beautiful, fairy-like concerts. Therefore, these airplanes full of residents of Vaikuntha, both male and female, increase the beauty of the spiritual sky. We cannot imagine how beautiful they are, but their beauty may be compared to the clouds in the sky, accompanied by silver branches of electrical lightning. The spiritual sky, Vaikuntha Loka, is always decorated in this way. Like we hear about something called Shaka Chandra Nyaya. That means for a small child, initially you want to show the moon. Where is the moon? So suppose this tree is there, the branch is there. So you tell the child, first you see tree and you see the branch, and between these two branches you see one white color item or thing. That is moon. So this is the Shaka Chandra Nyaya. Similarly, our acharyas, when they want to explain the understanding of spiritual beauty, they have to take material examples only, like lotus, moon, or or the gold, like the lightning, whatever we are able to perceive in our vibjor, that 7 colors. That vibjor only we have to see the entire spiritual world also through this. So that's why our acharyas are giving so many analogies and examples. How can you perceive that spiritual world? So I will continue further on that, the other thing. And we are like, in this purport, Prabhupada is telling about how nicely they are decorated and how beautiful the spiritual world is. So in this material world also, people want to have a luxury real estate. They want very clean interiors, security, swimming pool, this and that, so many things. But it is very difficult to maintain. How to maintain swimming pool? It's, generally it's very dirty. Because people come and take bath and, I don't know what they do inside and, So it's very difficult to understand. But in spiritual world, the waters are so, so clean, right? Sometimes we go to places like hilltops, where we find that, pure water is coming from the waterfalls. So that is again the example of little bit purity of water, So our bottled water is namesake pure, How much plastic is mixed in that, hardly anyone knows, So that's why people want very luxury real estate, luxury home, luxury places. But actually, really you want luxury, that is in spiritual world. Who can make a, like doors made up of, jewels and gold and, ivory and all these things, Very, very costly, Even maintenance is very difficult. Sometimes our devotees may marble temples, and that itself is very costly maintenance. You can imagine maintaining these things, So, and the another is that, how we want the soul mate. People talk about, I want a soul mate. Like in ISKCON, we have a marriage bureau, not ISKCON bureau. There are so marriage bureaus, they have very hard time finding the partner for each other. Because they come up with so many expectations. I want like this, like that. So one devotee told, I will place an order to Lord Brahma, immediately make something, as per your, designation, So people want soulmate. I want like this soul, as my mate. But that is very difficult in material world. How much ever we try, there is always some difference of opinion. I'm not saying that there cannot be, but if you want to really want, a heartful relation, it's in the best place is spiritual world. That, that for that we have to prepare here, right? So that's why this is also, I mean to say, what we're discussing is that how in the material world we want to experience spiritual world in artificial way. So that's what our topic here, very difficult. Like that's why this artificial intelligence, which is just now, Prabhupada, when he wrote it is, he was speaking about, technology and everything. So if today's world is artificial intelligence, also want, they want to understand the machine, what I need. That is called artificial general intelligence. So that means it should speak like a friend. Oh, you want this food? Should I make this song for you? Should I, should I plan a trip for you? Like that, they want, again, very caring, loving, person. But somehow they are not able to find in the humans, That's why they want to mimic it, perfect thing in an artificial bot, like there is a robot or them AI agents and all these things are there. See, this is entirely is driven by the same desire of Sat Chit Ananda. This is what Prabhupada is writing here. We want that, but we are not able to get it. So that's why we are making a shortcut here. Like that's why if you go to any corporate companies, they have instant coffee. You just go there and press 1, 2, 3 buttons, you will have coffee. So similarly, we want instant Krishna prem. When I bought something, I do some do chin mala, thoda घुमा दिया, थोड़ा दर्शन कर दिया, थोड़ा दंडवत मार दिया, चरणामृत पी लिया, and Krishna prem क्यों नहीं आया? But it doesn't happen like that. It happens by, Prabhupada is written in this purport, that penance and, we have to do the penance and austerity, and we have to qualify ourselves, not that, just instant coffee jaisa Krishna prema nahi milega, And then we see the transcendental beauty is, it doesn't perish. But the material beauty always perishes. So this is the problem with us. That's why what is that called? Fairness industry, cosmetic industry. Is so many, it has a turnover of so many lakhs and crores of dollars. Because of people are fearful of old age. So that's why they want to always, this thing. That's why Prabhupada is writing about, how we can plan in such a way that really we go to spiritual world from this, by practice of whatever teachings are there in Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can, if you do practice properly, then we can go there, where we don't need to worry about these things of maintaining swimming pool or real estate in maintenance. Our maintenance department finds so much difficulty because so much maintenance, this is happening, that is happening, this is falling off, that is coming out. So, but spiritual world is full of automatic maintenance. There is nothing called maintenance department there. So, that is very difficult in material world, very tough department. But spiritual world is automated. You don't even have electric shock. Sometimes they tell in our office, Prabhu, today 2 to 4 there is no electricity because they have to do maintenance. But spiritual world is self-effulgent. Always, fully, cognizant. Never, you don't need any separate bulb or, tube light or, CFL, whatever you can say. So this is a simple comparison of how this eternal, blissful spiritual world and we are in this material world, how to go from here to there. So, and then we said Chaitanya Charitamrita is that book. What is the definition we gave in the initially? God praying to God so that he will descend and teach us how to worship God. So this is the entire. So when we worship the way, which is mentioned in this thing, Srimad, like Taddama Vrindavanam, Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadu Vargena Vakalpita. So when we worship in the footsteps of Vrajavasis, then and also in the standard set by Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam, then we can get that Prema Pumardo Mahan. We can achieve our ultimate goal of life, that is Krishna Prema. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments? Prabhu, I have a question if you don't have. Like I was reading this entire shloka, there I found that Brahma Samhita explains about spiritual Goloka, but it is mentioned about the goddess of fortune or serving. So are they referring to, because I heard somewhere, I am not able to recollect, this goddess of fortune refers to the gopis, or what is the exactly meaning of that?
Yeah. Lakshmi Sahasra Sasambram Sevyamanam. So there in Golakundavan only gopis are there, no?
So the Lakshmi means here indirectly the reference.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I have one small doubt in the two terms mentioned in the second paragraph of the purport, wherein Prabhupada is explaining about the mode of characteristics of mode of goodness. So he explains a couple of things. Out of that, I was thinking about two terms mentioned as essential knowledge and the scientific knowledge. What does it really mean?
See, the scientific knowledge doesn't mean that only the some chemistry or physics or biochemistry or embedded systems, not like that. So the idea is that scientific knowledge means, like if you see our if you read NOD, Nectar of Devotion, it is called science of Krishna consciousness. If you read our book called Science of Self-Realization, the science means the knowledge. Scientific knowledge means whatever you are practicing. If you are in a goodness, you get that because you have patience. You have a time to understand. Somebody is highly passionate. He doesn't have time to sit and understand. कभी-कभी आप बात करते हैं ना इंटरेक्शंस में, कोई बोले नहीं देते आपको. इतना मोड ऑफ पैशन इग्नोरेंस में है कि जल्दी बताओ, मेरे को जल्दी बताओ, ऐसा बोलते हैं. Because that mode of passion is taken over, they can't hear. They can't just hear what you want to say. They just want to communicate. They just want to finish it off. But when you're in goodness, you have patience. That goodness gives you the patience to hear, understand, and there is a technique called reflective listening. When you understand, ideally what we should do, we should to reflect what the other person is saying. Not that सब कभी-कभी डिवोटी को बोलते हैं ना, प्रभु जी प्रसादम सर्विस कर रहे, you wanted rice, but he doesn't hear. He hears some dal and drinks it. I will tell you a real life story. One time one devotee went to one voice or choice in different language. So that devotee got some sickness, like little bit. So he called one local choice resident and he told, Prabhu, can you get this medicine? He went. After 10 minutes he came and he brought the medicine. Then the devotee said, what is this medicine? Prabhu, you wanted medicine. Okay, but is this what I wanted? He said, he was like, puzzled. Then, did you understand what I asked? Which medicine I asked? He said, no, Prabhu, I did not listen. But what did you bring it? Something I brought. Actually, if you know the exact sense, you'll really laugh at it. But look, he just went to medical shop, brought some medicine and giving it to him. And he did not even listen. वो क्या ड्यूटी क्या बोला था, उनको क्या दवाई चाहिए था, सुना ही नहीं उन्होंने. सो ऐसा होता है मोड ऑफ, बिकॉज वो पैशन इतना ज़्यादा है को वो डिवोटी सुन नहीं पाता. सो अभी साइंटिफिक नॉलेज कैसे मिलेगा? You will get a little bit here and there, some bits and pieces. Somebody is goodness or cultivating goodness. I am not saying that we are all goodness, but we are trying to cultivate. So sit, though your senses are, pulling, pushing, sit and read, scriptures, Prabhupada purports. Then we can get the scientific knowledge. Otherwise, we get some external, lulluballi knowledge, We can't, it will not help us. One more? Your voice is not.
Essential knowledge is also mentioned.
Yes, essential knowledge. Again, they are interconnected. I am sharing my understanding. I may not be the best explanation. But essential knowledge is what is required for you to go back to Godhead. As I said, when you are in goodness, you have energy to, like the patience to hear. And then you will learn it. Otherwise, we are running here and there. That's why our devotees, pakadke bhakti vaibhav karao, bhakti vedanta karo. So that we develop that goodness to sit and hear and take notes and write exams. So that way, this comes. So this Bhakti Vaibhava, I was hearing one more lecture. So in the Bhakti Vaibhava or Bhakti Shastri is over, you'll get a certificate. Right? This person, devotee, Mr. Such and Such Das has completed successfully, chief of examiner, chief of board of exam, something like that. There are 2-3 signatures. We keep saying. But unfortunately, we don't have any certification that this devotee is 100% humble, 100% tolerant, 100% Trinadapi Sunichena. So we don't have that certification. I feel we have to come up with that level of that certification also. I think that is our real certification. Yes, somebody learning by knowledge, as you were saying, but he becomes proud. Because he is in that, because Hare, like, this Chaitanya Charitamrita has some 15 chapters and Mangalacharan also is there. There is Chaitanya Charitamrita and Mangalacharan. So people, when they read Bhakti Vedanta, some big, our scholarly institutions, they come and tell the senior devotees, oh, you don't even know Mangalacharan of Chaitanya Charitamrita? You don't even know this much? You don't know these important shlokas? I am learning now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discussion of Sarvam Bhattacharya, So, if you get that element of pride by reading scriptures, that means we are Shramaya Keval. Because again, that aspect of goodness, when the goodness is there, he will understand why I am getting this knowledge. What is my goal? My goal is not to get that certificate. Okay, Brahman Diksha ke certificate lagega, but that is another aspect of it. But the idea is that ultimate goal is Prema Pamardo Mahan. So again and again, the sadhaka has to come back to our original goal. The goal orientation is very important. Otherwise, any opportune moment, suppose somebody is singing nicely, somebody is quoting shlokas, it is very easy to get distracted. And then very difficult to come back from there. So that's why, it's very, to being grounded is very important. Like a tree may grow very hard, tall, very tall, but the root has to be properly grounded. So this particular goodness gives us that grounding. And if you go to the spiritual mode of goodness, then you will get all the Satchidananda qualities and everything. Right? Any comments? Any questions? We have 1 more minute. Yes, Prabhuji. Oh, you want mics? Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So,
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for wonderful class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you said that in spiritual world, they are just pleasing Krishna without any motive. It's pure love. There is no selfishness in it. Swart nahi hai. So, Prabhuji, but we are serving Krishna. I don't know, maybe I heard in Prabhupada lecture also, we are serving Krishna because Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, otherwise we would not serve him. This is also one motive, selfishness. So, how can we understand this in this context?
I can share my understanding that this sadhaka, we do Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means there is some fingerprint is there, some camera scanner is there. So that's how, you are tracked, There is some tracking system is there. So otherwise, we may be tracked by Maya, So to avoid that, so our devotees made some systems so that we are Vaidhi Bhakti करने के inspiration है, motivation है करने के लिए. So suddenly you want to jump from here to there, it's not easy. So you have to have a practice your jumping. So like you see our devotees, like we see in South India, I forgot the Acharya name, who was fanning the Lord. And he gets the ecstasy, in the spiritual tears he gets. Then he criticizes tears, that they are interrupting my service to the Lord. You know the Acharya name? Sorry? Anyone knows here? So the essence is like this. So when we know, actually a sadhaka, ecstasy, we want ecstasy. We want, forget, all these things and just want to be ecstatic. But the devotee is becoming ecstatic and he is getting the tears of ecstasy. He is criticizing the tears. Because his goal is very clear. His goal is serving the Lord. He doesn't want any disturbance, including his own ecstasy. So that is the level of, like, as you said, so when you start doing sadhana, yes, initially we may have this thing, Krishna Prem, every day we are serving Krishna because we want Krishna Prem. Or we want to go back to Godhead. Our Back to Godhead magazine is there, So there is some inspiration, some motive. But as you go more and more, and it becomes automatically purified. So right now, we can start with this step. Having some kind of, practicing Krishna consciousness and achieving Krishna. Even with that purpose of, some kind of, spiritual benefit. But still, that will be purified at a later stage. It's not that, it will be eternally. Like as I said, this devotee, after achieving the ecstasy, he doesn't want ecstasy. And the gopis, if you see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, they want to do meditation, so forget Krishna, not to remember Krishna. They want to remove Krishna out of their mind. So that's why they are, because Krishna has cheated them, So that is the level, people can go. But the idea is that let us start with what we have. Don't try to jump 100, 200 meters at a time. Just start with some meters. Gradually we come to the Raganuga Bhakti. And I was hearing a very nice this thing. We know this thing, Sadhu Sangha, Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, all this till Prema. But in Prema also there are stages. You know that? Heard about it, anyone? Knows the... Yes, bro, what are the stages in that? Sorry? No problem, you can little bit loud. Yeah. Yeah, there is something called Rati, Sneha, Prema, then there are 7, and then last one is Bhava and Mahabhava. These are the stages of the love. Within love also there are stages. And there is said, the Srimad Radharani is in Madanakya Mahabhava. The Mahabhava also has a spectral characteristic. That is also Madanakya Mahabhava. So that is the level of, people can go into the scriptures and understand. So, as I said, initially we may be at certain stage, but the idea is that you practice in such a way that your intention become purified. And that is Krishna's job. If you are sincere and serious, without ulterior motives, as I said, you may have a motive, a spiritual motive, but you should not ulterior motive of climbing on the corporate ladder. If I do this thing, I will get, if I attend every day Mangala Arati, then I will be nominated for some post. So this type of things should not be there. But if you want to motive of, serving Krishna, okay, getting for, going back to Godhead, as a sadhaka stage, I think that is the inspiration for us. Thank you. Hare Krishna.